Good morning.
Mid-morning.
Mid-morning. What are you doing, Matt?
Good morning.
Making breakfast. Just got done working out to being tough.
Matt's making his breakfast. I'm making some coffee. Eli's finishing his breakfast.
Butter.
And we're gonna start our day, right?
Smile, because I'm using fresh eggs from the grocery store. Chickens are gonna go to boot camp, freezer camp, if they don't start laying eggs.
I found this wild beast in their natural habitat, staring at a computer screen, doing absolutely nothing.
You gonna work all day?
At night. We're busy. I don't know what else to do. We gotta hire someone.
Got a lot to do around here. Going to make some supper. And then my pasta's dry from the other day. So I am going to get that all packed up as well. Alright, we're keeping, this is so dark in this kitchen. We're keeping supper kind of simple tonight, but I have some chicken I need to use up. I'll probably grab some more, either a jar of canned chicken or some out of the freezer, and some broth I need to use up. Now it's so bright, dark, bright, can't get it right. Monster, what?
Zero!
You're trying to scare me?
Yeah.
Alright, so the chicken and dumplings is what we're having for supper. I just grabbed veggies from the freezer, carrots, onions. I do have some fresh onions, but I'm using up a bunch of freezer ones. And I grabbed some cabbage, not traditionally what I would add. I would be adding celery. Unfortunately, after I harvested all of our celery, I didn't get it in the freezer quite in time and we lost most of it. So we're already out of celery. Super, super bummed. But you know what? It is what it is moving forward. So, dumplings we're going to make and chicken. So you certainly wouldn't need to saute your veggies for this. You could just throw them right in your soup or your broth. But I have time, so I think I am going to cook my veggies a little bit first, especially since they're frozen. So I don't want so much cabbage that this tastes like cabbage soup. I just want enough for a little bit of crunch. So I am going to put the rest of this, I just chopped it up frozen, super easy to do, that's why I did it that way, and the fact that I didn't thaw it out. I am going to put this in the fridge and then I'll probably make stir fry later this week. I'm going to add some herbs right to this that I think are going to really make my broth taste great. Before I do my dumplings though, I will taste it.
I hit you.
Please keep in mind I do not have salt in my broth, so I do add quite a bit of salt. I am just flying through. This one I ordered online, so I could have a little bit. Alright, I'm going to add some salt and then I'm just going to mix this up quick with a fork. next I'm going to add a couple tablespoons of butter. And I do not have a pastry cutter, so I'm just kind of using my fork, or you could just use your fingers to put this in. I'm going to add some milk to the dumplings, but I'm actually completely out of milk. So I always keep powdered milk on hand. I think it's really beneficial to either have like evaporated milk or powdered milk on hand for baking and things, but I tend to do a lot of it. So I always keep this on hand. And then I do usually have regular milk in the freezer, but obviously that takes a while to thaw. So I'm just gonna double check the recipe, but I think it's about a 1/4 cup of powder with a cup of water will make, yes, 1 cup of milk. You could certainly mix this in the measuring cup. I don't think it much matters. I am going to just dump it right in and then add my cup of water. What are you doing?
I don't know.
Alright, I've got basically my dough sitting here ready to go, and I keep it pretty rustic. I don't do anything special. I don't roll it out or anything. And I'm going to add my broth. This is just broth I saved from a chicken, and I made broth with the bones when I was done cooking it. And I'm going to let those veggies, I've just got the onions and carrots in right now. I'm going to let those cook in here for quite a while. I probably will add the chicken, and I am going to add some water just to get enough going in here. If I had enough broth, I would just do that. And then once it really gets going, I'm going to taste it. Once I like it, we'll probably add a little bit of that cabbage. Might add the cabbage before we're sure we like the seasoning, because the cabbage is going to be strong. So my kids have a pretty predictable routine when they get home from school. They unload their backpacks. All their snow stuff goes in front of the wood stove this time of year to dry, and they sit down at the table, and if they didn't finish their cold lunches from school, they'll finish eating that as like a snack while they're working on homework. And if they did, then they'll have a snack. So today, I think they finished their lunches and had a snack. So I'm cleaning that up, and I'm gonna get the table all set for supper because it is a beautiful day. Everybody's done with their homework kind of early, so they all went outside to play for they've got about 30 minutes before supper time. So I'm going to be able to set the whole table up for supper, and I might have time to make a dessert. I wasn't planning on it. I was hoping I could get their lunches packed, so I might share that with you. All right, I just checked how the broth tastes. It tastes great. It's really hot, so I burnt my tongue. But I'm gonna just make sure the carrots are cooked. Oh, they're almost done. And I'm gonna add this cabbage, and then as soon as this is cooked in a little bit, I'll taste it again. Make sure that this didn't change the flavor too much. If it did, then I'll go ahead and season as need be. And then we're gonna add our dumplings. All right, so my broth is just a rapid boil. I tasted it. I let it cool down first this time. Tastes good. The cabbage did add a little bit of flavor to it, but I added a good amount, so we're good. Tasted the cabbage, that's cooked enough, and now I'm gonna add my dumplings. I do this very roughly. I just use flour kind of to make my dumplings. What this does is it also helps thicken my broth a little, so I get more of that, less soup and more of like a creamy, in between soup and gravy like. And I'll just dump my dumplings in, and I do not do anything special to them. They're just how they are. Oh, they're starting to come up to the top already. I don't know what it is about dumplings. It's just something delicious. It ends up like being between like a noodle and a biscuit, and I love it. A lot of things I cook are just so similar, you know, chicken noodle soup. No different than this, only it's more noodle form. Chicken pot pie, pretty similar, maybe with a roux sauce and some biscuits on top. Alright, so my biscuits are starting to come to the top. I don't really have a rhyme or reason how long I cook it for. I would guess around 10 minutes, maybe a little bit longer, maybe 15. And it definitely depends on my biscuits, see, call them biscuits. It depends on my dumpling size. So the bigger they are, the little bit longer I'm gonna cook them. Now I'll check one that I'm adding. Since these are floating, some of my other ones are not wanting to go down. Could be using 2 hands and maybe I'd be moving a little faster. But basically I want them all to be cooked enough inside that they taste at least cooked, not raw. Oh, doesn't that look so good? All right, I'm gonna let this cook. Tell the kids to come in. It is time for supper, and it's already dark. That half hour does so much. We try to eat about 5 o'clock on weekday evenings, and it is 5 o'clock on the dot, and it's already dark outside. So I'm surprised I haven't heard them come in yet, but they just love being able to get outside. All right, I know these are more than done, but if you want, you can simply take a knife and cut them in half and check. Maybe check with one that's bigger, or if you know which one you put in at the end, which I have no idea. I did stir it up a little bit, so if there's any flour, any that didn't get cooked on one side, they will get cooked. But I need to get this off the stove because otherwise it's gonna be way too hot for anybody to eat. It's all dished up, now just to wait on the family. Maybe I'll eat by myself. Glad you got to see me again. Bye. Us. Glad you got to see us. Matt Sara here somewhere.